This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Is your teenager ready to drive?
Come on, Mom. Let's go.
Sorry, you're not ready to drive yet.
What? Come on.
You need to complete a driver's ed class first.
The Wyoming Montana Safety Council offers a complete driver's education program taught by Tim Woodard, former Laramie County School District's driver's ed teacher. Classes are starting soon. Please call 635-4592 to sign up or go to wmsafetycouncil.org. Wyoming Montana Safety Council. Think safe, live safe.
Wow, it's hot enough out there to fry chicken. Summer's coming, so now's the time to find ways to beat the heat, and Marv's Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue, is the best place to go to get cool. Marv's Plumbing and Heating, which provides complete air conditioning, installation, inspection, and repair services, is offering its air conditioning inspections for just $98. So beat the heat right now by calling Marv's Plumbing and Heating today at 316-7634. That's 316-7634.
What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Which is being brought to you by Kia of Cheyenne over on Nationway. See my good friends AJ and Greg Miller and the entire staff over there. Test drive a great Kia. Take it home, and you will enjoy your new ride from Kia of Cheyenne. Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Del Range, where they serve up breakfast 6 days a week, including their delicious chicken biscuit sandwiches. Oh, you definitely want to get a taste of that over at Chick-fil-A, in addition to their luncheon chicken sandwiches with their waffle fries. Matter of fact, grab some chicken for the way home tonight for dinner. There's a common theme there. Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Del Range, right across from Menards. We want to thank Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service on Highway 30. Again, the clearance sale that's going on where you can save 30%. Right now is the perfect time. Tour the countryside in your brand new Jayco fifth wheel or RV. Taco John's reminds you it's Taco Tuesday today. So again, save some bucks by heading over to Taco John's of Cheyenne and load up on a plethora of tacos. Platte Valley Bank with a couple banking locations. You'll find Rick and the great staff over at Vanda High. You'll also find Rick's great staff over at the corner of College and Pershing. Banking done the old-fashioned way, customer service each and every time you step in the Platte Valley Bank. We want to thank the key people of Cheyenne. Rachel, who is the point person, she'll come on over and give you the estimate. Send her cleaning crew over to do the cleaning job so you don't have to. One less stress of owning a business. Rachel's number is 414-0074, the key people of Cheyenne. Medicap Pharmacy for all your pharmaceutical needs right there at Bluegrass Circle, right next door to Texas Roadhouse. Lennox Auto Body has a couple locations for you. The main repair center on Dunn Avenue with a bunch of bays to get the job done. And, of course, over on Pershing, they have their Auto Glass and Detail Center. Lennox Auto Body and the Auto Glass and Detail Center here of Cheyenne. First Year Bank, 1508 Stillwater Avenue, where Tim says talk to them about their special CD rates they got going on right now at First Year Bank. Mondello's Pizzeria right across the street. Sorry about the construction. Not my fault, but the construction going on over there right now. But still get you into Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons. Delicious Italian cuisine, Paisan cuisine, all the time, 7 days a week. We also want to thank the Wyoming Montana Safety Council, Marv's Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue, where they will come on by and check your air conditioning units right now so you're ready for the summer. Linkaway Liquors, grab a cold one on the way home at 2825 East Linkaway. And, of course, our scoreboard sponsor. We get the program all started off with Pepsi of Cheyenne, and we go first to Nick.
I got nothing. There is no hockey action. There is no ECHL action for tonight. I mean, again, everything, at least major on my end, happens Wednesday coming up.
All right, well, what we have for you is a lot of baseball. Matter of fact, the first of a twin bill at Target Field with the Twins leading, check that right now, it is the White Sox leading 1-0 as they've moved to the bottom of the fourth inning. The Rays will take on the Nats later on. Dodgers and the Pirates at PNC. Blue Jays will host the Yankees It will be the Red Sox and the Motor City Kitties of Detroit in Fenway. Brewers and the Indians at Progressive Field. Rockies will face the Reds today. Kyle Freeland will toe the rubber for the Rocks. They will get underway around 5:10 our time, just as soon as we wrap up here. Orioles will be at New York to face the Mets. Athletics and the Rangers at Globe Life Park in Arlington. Phillies and the Cubs at Wrigley. Seattle Mariners travel to Houston. The battle for first place, basically, in the American League West at Minute Maid Park. Again, we mentioned the White Sox and the Twins. They will play Game 2. Looks like around 6:10 Mountain Time to complete that double dip. Marlins at the Cardinals, Royals and the Angels again, Braves and Padres at Petco, Giants and the Diamondbacks tonight, and you were right. You were right. They had them scheduled for Thursday. Mad Bum gets the call tonight.
Again, we've been doing this for how long? And
he'll be opposed by Patrick Corbin. Diamondbacks and Giants. Giants beating the Diamondbacks last night in San Francisco.
Who keeps a finger closer on the pulse of baseball than me?
For the San Francisco Giants. Looking forward to watching that one later on tonight. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
This is the Pepsi that's got a date with your taste buds. We're talking 1,000 bubbles dancing a two-step with you and 2 tacos at 2 a.m.
Order number 83. Come on, you're up.
This is the Pepsi that has mastered the art of the late-night munchies and is always down to dig into some deep dish.
Hey, we don't do deep dish, capiche?
Try telling that to Chicago. This is the Pepsi for po' boys, pulled pork sliders, and the godfather of all sandwiches, the Godfather. This is the Pepsi for street carts, anything a la carte, and is dying to make the leap into your grocery cart. Come on, take us home with you. This is the Pepsi for those who are forever fun. This is the Pepsi for every generation.
Chick-fil-A is a proud supporter of our high school athletes at East, Central, and South. May the school year bring success to all of you. Before you start your day, stop by Chick-fil-A for a hearty, delicious, and satisfying breakfast. Only at Windmill and Del Range. Breakfast is served Monday through Saturday from 6 in the morning till 10:30 a.m. Breakfast with Chick-fil-A, the most important meal of the day at Windmill and Del Range.
Are you looking for a pharmacist who will actually take the time to talk to you? Then come to Medicap Pharmacy. We're dedicated to healthcare only, which means we'll fill your prescription quickly, and then we'll make time to listen, answer your questions, explain your prescriptions, and tell you about possible drug interactions.
Medicap Pharmacy. We'll always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
We are the key to your cleaning success. The Key People that provides affordable office and professional cleaning services for over 40 years with exceptional customer care. All of our contractors have background checks and are licensed and bonded. We guarantee you a safe and secure service that is tailored to your individual and business needs. The Key People do not impose year-long contracts, and all quotes are free, confidential, and personalized. Call the Key People at 1-800-468-8283. That's 1-800-468-8283.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
For tonight, it'll be partly cloudy with highs around 87. And for tonight, it'll be partly cloudy once again with lows around 49. On Wednesday, it'll be mostly sunny with a possible thunderstorm in the afternoon with highs around 79. And on Wednesday night, it'll be mostly cloudy with a chance of a thunderstorm with lows around 49.
Fat, lazy, and stupid is no way to conduct a sports talk radio show. We've thrown down the gauntlet, upped the stakes, and made it clear that when it comes to sports talk radio in Cheyenne, there's a new player in town. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's only here on AM 1480 K-Ray.
Welcome back to Wyoming Sports Talk Today for Tuesday afternoon. We have a special guest in studio, and we're glad to get a chance to have him in. We talk baseball about the guys. Well, let's get a chance to talk about some extreme softball action. And we got the head coach of the Galicia 18 and under team, that being Adam Galicia, who is in. So, Coach, thanks so much for dropping on by. We appreciate you talking to us today.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys extending the offer out to us. It's always nice when we get some publicity for the organization and for the girls. we do hear a lot about baseball, but we do have some good fast pitch softball players in Cheyenne. So it's,
and you certainly do, again, as you are kind of a spring style at least team where you've been playing since March, but getting underway, at least kind of getting close to wrapping up the regular season. So far, you said 21-9-1. Again, kind of keeping the theme here in Cheyenne of where we have the Mustangs doing what they're doing right now, keeping a fantastic pace. Post 6 doing well, but again, you look at on the softball side, again, baseball and softball all around, especially for at least kind of our teenagers, that 18 under crowd, doing fantastic.
Yeah, we have a good group of girls. We have kind of a mix of older and younger team at the same time. We had 4 seniors this year, and they're all 4 of them very talented. And we got some young 15-year-olds, 4 of them that were all basically freshmen this year coming up, and they're working hard and they're doing well for the organization.
You know, it's interesting, and Adam and I go back a ways. As a matter of fact, I used to call his son's football games at Cheyenne East. A great two-way performer offensively and defensively. And, of course, you've been with the Extreme program now for a lot of years. And, again, I'm not trying to age us because, you know, I mean, that happens. But, I mean, tell us how many years now you've been with the Extreme program, including your oldest daughter and your youngest daughter now with the program.
Yeah. Well, you know, it seems like a lot longer. I've been around with coaching for the Extreme for 10 years now, 8 years as a head coach. And my oldest daughter, Sierra, came up through the organization and graduated. She just graduated from UW. I have my youngest daughter, Ariana. She was a freshman this year. She's pitching for me. And so I've got in a lot of games. We play a lot of games. It seems like we play so much. I've been around for 20 years, but it's been about 10 years.
You know, it's interesting. We go back in time, and both you and I can relate to this, when we had 2 competitive teams, the Thunder as well as the Extreme. The Thunder has pretty much wrapped up operations here probably, about 7, 8, 10 years ago. But what keeps the Extreme going?
Well, I think it's the organization. You know, we have one thing that will destroy an organization is internal fighting, and I obviously wasn't a part of the Thunder, but it sounds like that's a part of why they went away. You know, we have 8 teams in every age group, and the big thing is making sure, as a coach and as a board member and stuff, that we're about the girls. Once we make them the priority, you know, things. Yeah, nothing's perfect, but things tend to go the right direction.
You know, this program has a lot of high praises that goes along with it. I mean, again, you know, national postings about the Extreme fast pitch program. Adam, why is this program so successful? And again, you gave us the parental side of it, but the kids that have come up through the program, you've had some really exceptional kids that really put their heart and soul into this program.
Yeah, no doubt, and that's the one thing that as a coach and my coaching staff, we've tried to teach is discipline and work ethic, and we have had a number of girls that go on to play college, a number of girls that have been recruited and chose to do something different. You know, whether it's go to college, play volleyball, or something else, but definitely we've had some great athletes come up through Extreme, and it's the work ethic. It's going through winter practices. You know, the teams that are playing down in Colorado and they come in for national tournaments down in Denver and where we travel to, they never stop playing. They play year-round ball. We're one of the only states that does not have high school fast pitch. So we got to put the extra time in, and most of it's in the gym, and unfortunately due to our weather.
Talk about at least 2018 this season right now, again, as we talked about players in the past, but I want to challenge you, at least kind of players introduced to our audience who have not been familiar with the Extreme, of a few players, or again the whole team if you want to, of what has been contributing to this 21-9-1 season so far for the Cheyenne Extreme. Again, as I'm looking at stats right now, a 410 average across the team, not too bad. 244 runs. Again, you got a big home run hitter as well, too, I can see, with 8 on the season. Just talk about a few players that have kind of contributed to 21 wins on this season.
Yeah, you know, coming into this year, I really was excited to talk to the girls all winter practices. That we ended with a really great season last year, and I expected them to step it up in winter practices coming in this year. We got seniors Lexi Trowbridge, who was an outstanding volleyball player for Cheyenne East. You got Chrissy Lira, Adia Sherbein, that are playing here from Torrington. And those are probably our 3 big leaders on the team. If you look at their stats, they're leading in just about every category, offensively and defensively. You got very proud. Get a little nod in there for my daughter, Ariana Galicia. She's really doing well in the circle. We have 3 outstanding pitchers. Lexi's also one of our pitchers. She's doing very well in the circle. And then our young girls are putting in the work. We have some maturing to do, but they're trying, and you couldn't have better examples than the seniors we have this year.
Now, talk about you again, as at least you mentioned that we don't have that high school fast pitch kind of program here in the state of Wyoming, but again, with the Extreme, still gives that opportunity for at least young ladies to play softball and competitive as well, too. But for you, is it, as we talk about other coaches, at least on the high school ranks, is it for you a full-time job as well, kind of getting this squared away of, hey, it might be the off-season in the winter, but hey, girls, I want you hitting the weight room, doing a couple sprints, or maybe going to the batting cages. Do you find this as being a kind of full-time job of, again, managing your players, but also too maybe helping recruiting as well too?
Yeah, it definitely is a full-time job. I mean, like I said, in order for us to compete in the tournaments that we want to play in, national tournaments and stuff like that, we have to put in the time year-round. And so we maybe give the girls a month off at the end of the season. Probably September, October, we go kind of light, but then we're right back in. We're with pitching coaches. We're learning different pitches. We're in with in the hitting cages. We're perfecting our swing and getting right back in the groove. And if we need to change something, that's when we're learning to do it. So it's never ending for us. I mean, like I said, the teams we're playing, they're playing year round, and so we got to put in the time to compete.
Let's talk about the pitching. Again, being a former pitcher, and I'm an overhand guy, so I would not be the one that would teach a young lady to do the underhand fast pitch. But again, do you have former players that are helping you, former pitchers that come? Because again, that is your key position on a fast pitch team. You got to have arms, and again, the nice thing about these young ladies, they can go the distance for you, and depending on how the situation is, that's what you expect them to do.
Yeah, and we do, and you'll see a lot of teams, they'll throw a couple pitchers in every game. We kind of condition that. I expect the girls to be prepared to go the whole game. You got my daughter Ariana, who's a lefty, and her big thing is she has okay velocity, not great, but her thing is the spins, her curves, screwball, drop ball. That's her bread and butter. Off speed, change up. You got Lexi, who comes in with the right-handed pitching, and she's got the same stuff, screwball, curve, but she's got a little more velocity. She's got another mile or two an hour, and it's a big difference. And we like to throw her in on the hands and stuff, fist people. And we got our young pitcher, Jaden Gashler, who's she's learning. She's coming along. She's learning new pitchers. This is a learning year for her, because next year when Lexi's gone, we gotta have 2 pitchers. You just can't continue on with one. And and our pitching coach is a former college coach and player, Amy Gurney. She's actually a teacher at Cheyenne East, and the girls just really love her, and they've really taken to her style of coaching, and she's taken the girls to all the girls to different levels.
Keeping on the theme, I didn't want to cut you off, but keeping on the theme of teaching for the Extreme camps, do you guys offer camps for kind of young ones, at least for parents to kind of tune in and say, yeah, I want my young one to come out and potentially get into softball and, again, join the Cheyenne Extreme, but also, too, are there also colleges around at least kind of the local area, whether it is CSU or down in the Colorado ranks? Is that something that colleges offer camps where you guys take advantage of that during the off season or whenever?
We try, and we definitely, there's hundreds of, every college in within 200 miles, I mean, pretty much every college offers a camp. You got to pick and choose where you want to go. There's coaches that are not coming to Cheyenne, Wyoming looking for fast pitch softball players. The good thing is we've built a pretty good reputation, and we do have some coaches that do follow us, and as they're following us, they know if we're doing well, teams that beat us, they got other players to look at too. So we do normally offer camps every year. I think this year is the first year probably we don't have something scheduled, but we're as a team, me and my coaching staff, we're looking to do something here in probably the next 2 weeks, hopefully get something out. We're going to look at it as a fundraiser, but also as a skills camp. the girls' first tournament of the year. We qualify for nationals by making a championship, and we're going to go compete at nationals. So we got to raise some money to go do that.
You know, does your team and even you, because we're never too old to learn new things, are you a big follower of the college game? I am. I really enjoy it. I know when my daughter played rec fast pitch, we would watch the women's World Series, and I'm really thankful that ESPN is continuing to show that year in, year out. But again, it's one of those deals. Do you ever pick up anything new that it might be laid out there by, again, those perennial powerhouses, Oklahoma, Alabama, the West Coast teams?
Yeah, I mean, you got Florida State, Georgia, you got all those teams out there, and most definitely, I mean, that's one thing as a coach. If you think you know everything, then you're probably not going to be very successful. So we're always trying to learn new skills. We're learning little things, or even skills that we're trying to teach the girls. And I'll record stuff and say, hey, look at this. This is what I was trying to tell you. Most definitely, we watch college as much as possible. All the girls on the team watch college softball, and it's kind of neat when we get together at practice and they talk about, hey, did you see this? Hey, did you see that? Yeah.
I was going to say, with 2018 where it is, especially with technology, as we ask other coaches as well too, but for you with the extreme, scouting opponents when you come up again, as you have an upcoming tournament here, it looks like this weekend at the Junebug Jam, but for opponents, again, for instance, it looks like a few Nebraska teams. Is there a lot of detailed information on these other teams to use for scouting for you as a coach, or is it kind of day of, we just kind of look at them, go, well, we'll figure out day of?
We usually try to go play Nebraska a couple times a year. We play mostly in Colorado, and so typically once you get to this time of the year, you have the same 4 to 6 teams that are advancing into brackets, and the girls, we're playing them again. So I'd like to go to Nebraska, see some new teams. To be honest, this is the first time we're going to this tournament. Normally this weekend we're going to North Platte. They didn't have enough 18 and under teams this year, so we're even going further west. We're a little bit, further east. We're going a little bit south of Lincoln to Beatrice. And so all I can do to really scout these teams is go online, see what they're doing against other teams. Hopefully we have some common opponents that we've played somewhere in the past, and go from there. And then once we get to the fields, most definitely while the girls are warming up, typically your same pool plays on the same field, so you're scouting that team as you're warming up and seeing who does this, who does that.
You have to be kind of warmed at the heart because, first off, we built Powers Field for our Legion, our Mustangs program. Of course, they fixed up Pioneer Park, but also the city said, hey, wait a minute, we got a very good women's program in the extreme, but also it filters down to getting more participation in the recreation league. You have to be very happy what they've done out there at Converse for you.
Oh yeah, no doubt. And this year with getting all the new backstops and on all the fields, it really looks nice. We had our own tournament this last weekend, and Colorado teams coming in. Man, you guys made a lot of improvements. Converse Field 3, has been done for a couple of years now, and it's a great complex to play in, great field to play in. The girls feel like, it's something different. They feel good when they're on that field, and we're definitely very pleased with that.
Adam, with the changes in baseball per se, where again the turf fields are coming into play, all weather turf, and we're seeing the skins pretty much leaving the infield. Is that something that might come the way of women's fast pitch, that they may go to all weather, all turf fields in the future?
Honestly, I think there was a push for that about 4 or 5 years ago. You saw some of the colleges actually put turf infields, but every college game you see on TV, it's skinned infields. Actually, when the Commerce 3 was in the making, they had talked about putting a turf field in, and the cost was just a little too much at the time. But I honestly, I think you'll always see a skinned infield for fast pitch. I really do.
We're talking with Adam Gleesa. He is the head coach of the Shine Extreme Gleesa 18 under team. We're going to take a timeout. We're going to come back with more, talk about this weekend's pass tournament and more fast pitch coming up for the Extreme here on 1480 K-Ray.
Is your teenager ready to drive?
Come on, Mom. Let's go.
Sorry, you're not ready to drive yet.
What? Come on.
You need to complete a driver's ed class first.
The Wyoming-Montana Safety Council offers a complete driver's education program taught by Tim Woodard, former Laramie County School District's driver's ed teacher. Classes are starting soon. Please call 635-4592 to sign up or go to wmsafetycouncil.org. Wyoming-Montana Safety Council. Think safe, live safe.
Are you thinking about purchasing a home? Then Platte Valley Bank can help. With Platte Valley Bank, you can count on local decisions and expect to work with an experienced staff to design a loan to fit your needs. Just log on to pbbank.com and fill out our online application. We have money to lend, and at Platte Valley Bank, we are in the business of fulfilling dreams, enriching lives, and building our community one loan at a time.
All loans subject to credit approval. Certain restrictions may apply. Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner. As Cheyenne's weather turns warmer, dust and pollen can become a problem for those with allergies, asthma, or respiratory issues. And the last thing you want in the summer heat is poor air quality in your home or office. So it's time to turn to Marv's Plumbing and Heating. That's right, Cheyenne's most trusted plumbing, sewer, and heating business also services air conditioning. Marv's Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue, can handle all your air conditioning needs. Give them a call, 316-7634. That's 316-7634.
We're taking Cheyenne, Wyoming Sports Talk Radio to a whole new level. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Don't look at me. I think these people are completely nuts.
Stop this crazy thing! And it's only here on AM 1480 K-Ray.
We're glad that you're with us today on 1480 K-Ray. We're talking Cheyenne Extreme Fast Pitch, and we got Adam Gleesa, who heads up the 18 and under Gleesa team. We'll talk about the other program as well, just briefly. Again, part of the Cheyenne Extreme.
And also, too, want to toss out that we are live on Periscope and YouTube, again, with that chat pulled up. So, again, if you are tuning in on our video live stream, if you have a question, a comment for Adam or any of our guests here on Wyoming Sports Talk today, feel free to ask away. And, again, I have that chat pulled up, and we'll ask it as soon as possible.
You know, in this day and age, and you made a comment earlier in our conversation, and I've talked with a lot of the high school coaches as well, especially for the ladies. The ladies are probably under more pressure to make a decision now as opposed to the guys. The guys can, still go run track. They still can play football. They still can play basketball. But the ladies are kind of expected, either volleyball, hoops, or, whatever the case may be. At least with extreme softball or fast pitch, they have that opportunity. They can play another sport, but also, too, if they are good enough and to get looked at, and again, too, you've been in this game a long time now, Adam, there's possibilities that they can continue on with scholarship money.
Oh, most definitely, and that's the biggest thing. We love fast pitch softball, and we want them to excel at that, but we want them to use this as a tool to go on to get an education. Education is a priority, so they can go on to a junior. Most of our girls go on to junior college, and when they go there, when they get recruited, the opportunities that are there for them academically are amazing. It's different. They a lot of the girls, when they go to college, it's not the same. So they don't have their friends that they were playing with forever. So and now you're going to a coach that now you're messing with my job. So he's got a whole different temperament. about how he's dealing with stuff, and some guys are not or females are not the nicest people. So it's how they deal with that, how they react to that, that makes a big difference on their college experience, I guess.
Now I know the answer to this, but I'll still ask it. But for you, Adam, again, as you mentioned there, with a lot of your players moving on to the JUCO ranks again, we have a JUCO here in town with LCCC again. Obviously not a part of that program, but again, if you had to pitch out to LCCC where maybe they were to use Converse or some other fields, or the city would be gracious enough to build up a field for LCCC to use, is that something where that could be very beneficial for that school of saying, hey, we got this local product, very good athletes as well, too, here playing with the Extreme. Let's just send it over your way where they get that education here in town, play for you, and then move on.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely love for LCCC to have some fast-pitch softball. There's actually been talk the last couple of years. I haven't heard anything from the school, but just rumorville from people that are associated with the school and stuff that they had actually talked about getting a fast-pitch program in there. So I don't know any of the logistics or anything like that going along with it, but it was definitely exciting to hear that, and I'm sure the city would be more than welcome if we could get some going in the college here that they could use Converse Field 3.
I think we have a meeting with Clark coming up this week, so we'll talk to him.
Again, now you've got to deal with Title IX, because if you add a women's program, you're going to have to add a guys program as well too. Let's talk about the two programs you do have. You coach one team, and then we have another Extreme 18 and under team, which I think is a kind of a neat deal, because that tells me the interest in wanting to play for the Extreme. And again, for those that are out there listening and their youngsters want to get involved with Extreme, and we'll talk more about that as we get ready to wrap up the program. But again, this is not cheap. I mean, it's going to cost you a couple of bucks to play. I mean, I have to pay to play my old man league. But my point is, though, this is a neat deal that because I've always seen one team. In 14 and under, 16 and under. But you have 2 and 18 under teams, and that tells me that the participation is really, really well this year.
It is. It's as an organization, you strive to grow. The one thing that you have to watch out for as an organization, is are we diluting teams? Are we spreading our talent too thin? Cheyenne's not there's not like, you go to some like Colorado Springs, you go to Denver where they have tryouts. You may have 200 girls coming to try out for a team.
And you're struggling on the rec teams too to field 12 during the season.
Yeah. So it can be it shows a sign of growth for organization. It also as an organization, you got to stay tuned to what's going on within your organization to make sure you're not actually hurting your organization. So this year we do have, this is the first time that I know of we've ever had 2 18 and under teams. They're doing their thing. We really haven't seen each other at tournaments a lot. We go one way, they kind of go another way. Both teams have a different thought processes about how they want to run their season. We play a little on my team. We play a little bit more. That's just way we're geared to do. They play a couple less tournaments, but they had a pretty successful this last weekend, Extreme weekend. Beat a few teams there, and so it's good for the organization.
Is that a situation where, again, you are competitive? It is still 2 different teams. You're still playing 2 different schedules, but again, being part of that Extreme organization, is that something where, again, do believe manager of Lindy Harris, if they were to come to you and go, hey, I need some help, or I need some. This player is just not translating very well. What would you recommend? Is that something where you could take advantage of that and just kind of pass along notes?
The opportunity is always there for. That's one thing with my team. I'm always an open door. My practices are open to 2 girls that are 14 and older to come to practice with me all the time. I always extend that invitation to all the coaches. So there is some stuff that goes on. I recently spent a couple weeks working on with our 14 and under team, going to their practices and stuff. And so the opportunity is there. Whether coaches take advantage of it or use that. Or
either you kind of go and poke the manager Harris and go, give me this kind of report on that team. You did really well. Just, who's our ringer?
Yeah. And the good thing is, it's tough for us. Most of the teams that we're playing, we've seen for years now. And or I know the coaches. The same coaches have been coaching forever. You know their styles. So you kind of got them figured out a little bit, but you still have to go out there and play the game.
Looking at this past weekend's tournament, and again, you know, when you're hosting, you definitely want to win at home. Unfortunately, and again, it's like, Coach, how could you schedule during a graduation weekend? First off, that's the second thing, or the first thing. Then the second thing is, you know, injuries can sneak up on you at any time. You don't expect them to happen, but then all of a sudden there's one to your key player, and it's almost a case where you ran out of bodies in the championship game.
Most definitely. You know, as far as the scheduling part, I think it was probably 3 or 4 years ago when the school district decided to change graduation weekend. You know, it used to be a Memorial Weekend all the time. And once they bumped it back a weekend, we've always had Extreme Weekend on the same weekend. So that really hurts. And so every year you're having to deal with graduation stuff. It's a tough week for the girls anyways. They have family, friends. But, you know, getting back to the tournament this last weekend, yeah, it was tough. You always want to, you know, compete well and do well. Try to win your home tournament. We lost our number one catcher, Chrissy Lira. You know, had a tough play at the plate. You know, you got to slide. When you go into play, and the girl basically threw 2 elbows up and plowed right through her. You know, well, Chrissy's had a history of concussions. She actually may be done for the year now, and so hopefully not. You know, she's a big part of our team. She's my number 2. She bats the number 2 spot. She's producing a lot with the stick, and she's the man, if I want to put it that way, behind the plate.
Yeah, she's your money player, no doubt about it. That's why I brought that up, because you know, I've seen that too, even on the rec side. One of your good players goes down, and man, it's almost like the season just wraps up. You know, you look at your season here, and for you it kind of wraps up before Frontier Days, if I'm not mistaken, right? Is there anything postseason after the Sparkler that could be involved for the Cheyenne Extreme?
Oh yeah, most definitely this year. So this year the Sparkler's a big national recruiting tournament. You know, there's 800 teams that go down to Denver from all over the country, Alaska, you know, Hawaii. They come from all over, and so it's a big tournament. It's great players. So we going down there and try to get a lot of looks to the girls. You know, it's still going to be regionally, basically regional type coaches, but we do get looks from you know, from coaches from, like say, Florida, California, Texas, Georgia. But after Sparkler, we'll have Wyoming, actually Colorado State tournament. We'll have the Wyoming State tournament, and then our team, like I said, we qualified for USSSA Nationals, which will be in Florida. And, yeah, this year we'll be heading down there to play Nationals.
What keeps you going as a head coach? And I know Nick mentioned, you know, that looking at a little bit that you have done through your time as the head coach of the Extreme, and we touched upon that earlier. But what keeps that fire burning for you?
Yeah, it's I don't know. I'm not sure what it is. I think it's in my blood. You know, my dad was president of the junior league for like a million years. I think over 30 years. You know, they actually have one of the fields named after him down there. You know, I've been coaching. I told the girls the other day, I coached my first baseball team down there when I was a sophomore in high school, and so it's been a long time for me coaching now. My son coached with me before he went into the service. He's back out of the Marines now, and now he's, you know, my assistant coach now. And quite honestly, you'll probably be seeing his name around for the next 25 years. You know, just like I was. It's just in our blood. That's what I do, and I love to do it. I love to not only teach a sport, but, you know, try to teach the girls just how to be a productive person in society.
But it also makes and this is what I was driving at, because, you know, I knew the answer right away, because, like I said, I still play baseball even at age 60, and it's in my blood, and you just can't walk away from it. Same thing too. It's a love for the game. It's, as you said, you know, you enjoy teaching the kids, and you're again, you're never too old to learn anything new.
Yeah, correct. I mean, like I said, if you think you know it, then you need to just step down. If you think you know everything, and get into something different. I'm constantly watching videos on the internet, looking stuff up. You know, different coaches. I like what they do, so I get their different feeds, and and it's little things.
Well, I think also too, and again, not to pat you on the back, you obviously deserve it for what you've done, but I think too, the kids that are coming up, and they see that stability at the top program, and again, this is the top program here, the 18 under. I think moms, dads, and those youngsters that want to play fast pitch for the extreme, they see that stability there, and I think that's why we're getting more kids coming out. Would you agree?
Oh, most definitely. I got kind of a funny story because during the winter we do my son Michael. He caught for at the post 6 and baseball coming up, and so he's pretty good at catching. So catching is kind of our specialty. All our catchers get recruited all the time. But anyway, so we're doing catching drills over at Cary, and we got some girls off our 10 and under team. They're probably 8 or 9 years old, and a funny story is like one girl's like, Coach, do you think you'll still be alive when I get up to be 18? I would really like to play for you. That's like,
thank you.
I hope so.
The answer will be yes. I mean, it's like with me, and the thing too, and I think you said something that was really nice because it was an honor to me because I pitched all my life, and then I started catching here in my my late 40s with my team, and now here, some 12 years later, I'm still catching. And I know my daughter, when she came up, and she didn't get that opportunity to play with the extreme. I think the one team that she did play with, they ended up folding because they did not have enough players, and that was a few years back. But she ended up being a catcher. And I know when she got married and then went off into the service, she's now in the Air Force with her husband. She came back, grabbed some stuff, and doggone it, grabbed her catcher's mask and her glove and took it with her. So again, you can never take the fast pitch out of those young ladies as well.
I always tell people catchers are like my favorite. I like everybody, but catchers they got a special place in my heart because you got to be tough. You got to be dirt tough to play catcher because you got to be able to block the ball. And
they got to have a gun. They got to have a gun behind the dish. So
I disagree. As a pitcher, again, we get line ball, line drives at us. I've taken a few.
The catchers, though, they got to throw people out.
I get
real quick here, as we get ready to wrap up our segment with you. And again, thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. And from me to you, continued success with this fantastic program. What happens for the next group of kids that are going to be coming up? Tell us a little bit when you have tryouts. And again, I'm not going to throw dollar figures out here, but, moms and dads need to understand this is not, you're not going to get on the ball club for free.
Oh, yeah. It definitely costs money to play, we did raise our fees this year, and we're looking at somewhere close to around $1,000, to join the organization. That sounds like a good chunk of money, but the reality is it's not even half of what it costs to join the teams down in Colorado. Most of those girls are paying $2,400 to $2,600 to play down there. We have tryouts usually around the first week of August. We usually put stuff out in the newspaper. We advertise it pretty well.
You'll keep us in the loop, I would hope. Absolutely.
Definitely.
So, again, you'll have tryouts and
usually practice starts for the teams immediately. I mean, it's not like it's an everyday thing, but most teams in the off season will, and there's fall ball. So our younger
I was going to say, do you have a fall league? Yes.
Our younger teams play a lot of fall ball, probably up to 14s. The reality is most of our 16 and 18s are good in volleyball, it just seems. So volleyball season starting at that time of the year. So most of our high school age kids are done, other than the once a week practices that we do. But the younger kids, they play fall ball, I believe, all the way up to probably September, October, somewhere in October. So it's a good opportunity for them to get into those fall ball leagues to improve their skills, to refine their skills, and just get better. So when the spring, summer season comes around, they've improved and they're ready to go.
Absolutely.
I was going to leave it with you if you have one last question.
Well, I do, and it's a little tongue in cheek as we kind of had fun with Ty and again a few other baseballs. We are at least on the women's side in the College World Series. We are in the finals. I got to ask you, Coach. Florida State leads 1-0. It's a best of 3. Do we just crown the Lady Seminoles champion, or do you think Washington's going to pull this one off?
Honestly, I think Washington will get them tonight, but I think it's going to go to a third game, and I'm not sure who's going to get, but I'm kind of leaning towards Florida State this year.
And, the nice thing, too, about that, again, as we mentioned, and I think you have to a certain degree, thank ESPN, because I know when the baseball strike happened back with 94 or something like that, ESPN was scrambling to grab something on there, and all of a sudden you started seeing women's fast pitch, and it's now become regular. But the thing I really enjoy, especially with those World Series, and you know it too, coaching here locally or when you're on the road, you draw really good crowds. People really have a lot of interest in this type of competitive fast pitch.
Yeah. And in our organization, its name is out there. I love when we go down to Colorado and they're Cheyenne Extreme, and then when they say it that way, I take that as a sign of respect because they don't want to play you.
Coach, continued success and wrap up the season on a good note. Adam Galicia, the head man of the Galicia 18 and under Cheyenne Extreme. We thank him so much for joining us here on Wyoming Sports Talk today. Back after this break.
For 56 years, 1480 K-Ray has been Cheyenne's home for good times and great oldies. Also with KYY FM, we are Cheyenne and the area's only locally owned AM/FM combo radio stations. Add that to the addition of 3 FM radio translators to serve the area with programming from both K-Ray and KYY, and that equals a lot of bang for your local advertising dollar. Radio, yesterday and today, still works. For more information, contact Don Morris at 307-637-0301.
The time is now, and the place to go is Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service for their annual model clearance sale of Jayco RVs and fifth wheels. This is your year to travel the countryside, and what better way with your Jayco RV from Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service. And to put you on the road today, save 30% on their annual model clearance. Their savings are always the best on whatever model you select. Come see and take home your favorite today when you buy from Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service at 6102 East Highway 30 in Cheyenne, or go online to jollyrogersrvs.com.
Taco John's presents Olay the Day Pep Talks.
All right, good half of football, boys. Now, good is good, but we can always be better. Look at Taco John's. They took those tasty little potato lays and loaded them up with bacon and ranch and all kinds of good stuff. They made something good even better.
Taco John's new loaded potato olays are loaded with craveable toppings for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and even dessert.
So olay the day, boys, and play like you're making loaded potato lays.
Olay the day at Taco John's.
John Mason here for Lincoln Way Liquor. I want to thank Cheyenne for helping us grow during our first year of business. We have over 5,000 new customers in our database in just 13 months. Our customers love our low prices, free ice, 2% credit for future purchases, and some really friendly service. And we always have 16 weekly specials on beer, wine, and liquor. We ask you to compare Lincoln Way Liquor, 2825 East Lincoln Way. We're not the largest, but we might just be the best.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
For tonight, it'll be partly cloudy with highs around 87. And for tonight, it'll be partly cloudy once again with lows around 49. On Wednesday, it'll be mostly sunny with a possible thunderstorm in the afternoon with highs around 79. And on Wednesday night, it'll be mostly cloudy with a chance of a thunderstorm with lows around 49.
You bleed brown and gold? So do we. Wyoming Cowboys football and basketball is always front and center on this show. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's here on AM 1480 K-Ray.
And of course, for the upstart 49ers, they're 6 yards away from Pontiac. 3rd and 3. Montana looking, throwing in the end zone. Caught it! Dwight Clark! It's a madhouse at Candlestick with 51 seconds left. Dwight Clark is 6'4". He stands about 10 feet tall, and this crowd just...
Welcome back to Wyoming Sports Talk Today. Sad day, and again, me being a lifelong 49er fan.
I know the history of the team.
Well, no.
Again, I wasn't around, but I know pretty well.
There's nothing wrong, and I'm not dissing on you for that. What I'm saying is, though, with Dwight Clark, matter of fact, I was working in Chico at the time, KPAY AM, and we had just picked up the 49ers that year. Matter of fact, the 49ers had switched from KSFO radio. They went to KCBS. First year, they had moved, and under Eddie D. Bartolo Jr., this was the year that they went to their first Super Bowl. And it was just, it was where it really everything just fell into place for the 49ers that season. And, of course, it was capped by that great touchdown pass from Joe Montana to the legendary Dwight Clark. And that, again, Dwight Clark had a great career with the Niners. Great career. I mean, 134 games he played, 48 receiving touchdowns. He started in 97. Total yardage, 6,750 yards. He was also part of the 49ers front office. He was part of the Cleveland Browns front office. That was the secondary Cleveland Browns when they came back into play. Matter of fact, Carmen Policy, who was the president of the 49ers, he left the Niners to become the president of the Cleveland Browns and brought Dwight Clark with him. So, again, very likable guy. Sad to hear that he had ALS, and unfortunately,
and again,
that
49ers kind of at least recognize that, again, at least said, hey, Dwight, let us help and kind of get outreach and kind of get, again, not so much donations, but, hey, kind of, knowledge out to the people of, hey, you do have this, kind of let's get research into this. And, again,
he actually kept it low-keyed.
Yeah.
I mean, he kept that low-keyed. And, again, Dwight Clark, my age, 61, so, I'll be 61 this year. But it's just sad to see that and hear that kind of story because, again, likable guy. I mean, you
look at it from whether teammates or former opposing players, again, everyone has said great things about him, at least in the recent hours. Again, no one has ever said a bad thing about the guy. So, again, a big loss for the football world, especially on the 49ers side. Again, a big loss, and again, to a kind of cruel disease of what it is of ALS. Again, Lou Gehrig's disease of what just kind of takes a toll on your body of what it exactly does. But, again, 61 Dwight Clark, again, infamous for the catch against the Dallas Cowboys in that NFC Championship game that did lead them to the Super Bowl there in Pontiac, Michigan, the old Pontiac Silverdome. Again, the first Super Bowl championship against the Cincinnati Bengals.
And they beat a former Green Bay Packer, Forrest Gregg, when he was coaching. That was his first coaching stint.
No one remembers that. You only remember the winner.
No, you remember who was coaching the 49ers back then. That would be the legendary Bill Walsh.
Yeah.
So, again, it was a team, believe it or not. This is interesting, too, with the 49ers that season, the Super Bowl season. They started out 1-3.
Yeah.
And
it did turn out to be a miraculous season. Again, to come from behind at least, or again, no one saw it, and then eventually led on to the start of one of the team of the 80s of the 49ers, again led behind Joe Montana. Again.
Well, and I throw out again for old timers like me, the receiving corps was Freddie Solomon.
Yeah, this is all before Rice got there.
Earl Cooper was the tight end. Of course, Montana, a great offensive line. Randy Cross, who was the guard. There was Keith Fahnhorst, the right
Roger
tackle.
Craig was after this team, right?
Yeah, after. And one of the, you go back to that Super Bowl, which was Super Bowl 16, which was played in the Silverdome in Detroit, where the Niners
Which
won.
is what I said. Pontiac, actually.
Yeah. Ray Wershing was the kicker who they had picked up from San Diego. But I remember the big stop at the goal line by Danny Bugs. And, again, this was a team that had picked up players and also, like the Warriors, a lot of the young guys were picked up through the draft.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, this was a fun team to watch back in the day. And, again, watching the receiving course. But also, too, it was the Bill Walsh offense.
Yeah.
The Bill Walsh offense was a fun offense to watch.
Well, again, the creator of the West Coast offense, through him, again, at least through Stanford, that did lead to the 49ers. So, again, the king, the creator of the West Coast Conference, again, the great, legendary Bill Walsh.
But also, too,
now do we, again, bringing it into 2018, are those words we can describe this 49ers team?
Not yet.
Shanahan, could it be?
Let me tell you,
fun, energetic. Again, with
hope.
a Jimmy G-led team. Again, it sounds like in the off season so far, it could be description words, but we'll see how it translates.
One of the things that made the 49ers great that never will be brought forward. We only think of 42, Ronnie Lott,
mm-hmm.
but 3 of those guys were drafted in the same year. Ronnie Lott, Eric Wright, Carlton Williamson, and then Dwight Hicks. They picked up Detroit in a trade. That probably, in my opinion, back in the day, and that went for a few years, that was one of the best secondaries ever in the National Football League, those four guys there. And when you got hit by Ronnie Lott, it was like getting hit by a linebacker. You just never wanted to cruise around Ronnie Lott territory. Anyway, Dwight Clark getting off track here. Again, a fan favorite in San Francisco. That year, I can't remember of the catch. I think he had, was it 60 catches that year, if I'm not mistaken?
You got the stats in front of him.
No, I brought up another year here. But
again, before my time, I just know of the infamous play, and again, as a solid, player for the 49ers, again, a champion as well, but he will be missed. Again, missed by the 49ers organization. They have, again, posted all around of number 87 of his number, again, in honor of, of Dwight Clark.
Yeah, again, good football player. And, you look at and again, where I age myself as opposed to you, that's also the Stickum era back in the day. Freddie Biletnikoff was the main man using Stickum, but Dwight Clark, really, really soft hands. So I'm looking back here at that year of the Super Bowl year, including the catch, 85 catches that year for 1,105 yards, 4 TDs. So they got their money's worth out of them during that Super Bowl campaign. All right, speaking of wide receivers, here's another great one. You did not see. I did.
No, I saw it.
No, you did not see him play.
Oh, no, I saw the release, though, yes. I know of the player.
Wyoming has had good stables of running backs in the time I've been here.
Mm-hmm.
They've had great wide receivers. And again, during the Joe Tiller era, the Paul Roach era, even now with Coach Bowl in play, not so much under Dana Demmel, but quarterback U is back and alive well. We've had some really good quarterbacks. But our wide receivers, Ryan Yarbrough, who made his living with the New York Jets, Marcus Harris, who was drafted by the Detroit Lions. Well, Marcus Harris, and we got this thank you to Tim Harkins at the University of Wyoming, for the second consecutive year, former two-time Wyoming All-American and 1996 Biletnikoff Award winner Marcus Harris has been selected as one of the eligible players for the upcoming National Football Foundation and College Football Hall of Fame class. Should be in there for what he did at the University of Wyoming. Harris is one of only 76 former football subdivision players eligible for selection this coming year's class. Former Wyoming head coach, believe it or not, Dennis Erickson, Mr. 6-6 in his only season. He's one of only 6 former FBS coaches on this year's ballot. There are also 100 players. And
he's only getting a nod because, again, what he did at Miami, but the rest of, again, his stint at Idaho, Wyoming, the 49ers, he is not a Hall of Famer.
And I know we got to get into the top of the hour, but I just wanted to do this. Harris ended his college football career as the NCAA's all-time career leader in total receiving yards, 4,518. He still ranks number 5 all-time in NCAA history. He led the nation in receiving yards as a sophomore in 94, ranked second in 95, and again led the nation as a senior in 96. He was named a first-team All-American by the American Football Coaches Association in 95 and was a consensus All-American in 96. Harris also won the prestigious Biletnikoff Award in 96, which recognizes the college football season's outstanding receivers. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that Marcus Harris will be the next enshrinee from the University of Wyoming into the College Football Hall of Fame. We are going to take a timeout. We'll come back. We got a very special guest coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. May I say that here real quick, Nick, before we do that, as we want to thank Adam Galicia join us. Sal, I do believe, is Capaccio. He's the Buffalo Bills beat reporter and host at WGR Sports Radio 550. He joins us coming up in a few minutes.
This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Also being heard on translator K266CC Cheyenne at 101.1 FM.
Is your teenager ready to drive?
Come on, Mom. Let's go.
Sorry, you're not ready to drive yet.
What? Come on.
You need to complete a driver's ed class first.
The Wyoming-Montana Safety Council offers a complete driver's education program taught by Tim Woodard, former Laramie County School District's driver's ed teacher. Classes are starting soon. Please call 635-4592 to sign up or go to wmsafetycouncil.org. Wyoming, Montana Safety Council. Think safe, live safe.
Wow, it's hot enough out there to fry chicken. Summer's coming, so now's the time to find ways to beat the heat in Marv's Plumbing and Heating. 1515 Logan Avenue is the best place to go to get cool. Marv's Plumbing and Heating, which provides complete air conditioning, installation, inspection, and repair services, is offering its air conditioning inspections for just $98. So beat the heat right now by calling Marv's Plumbing and Heating today at 316-7634. That's 316-7634.
What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
We have moved into hour number 2 of Wyoming Sports Talk Today, which is being brought to you by all of these fine folks. Taco John's of Cheyenne. It is Taco Tuesday. I say no more. Check out what's going on at Taco John's today here in Cheyenne. Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service over on Highway 30. We also want to thank Chick-fil-A, corner of Windmill and Del Range. And remember, they serve up breakfast 6 days a week. Check out their chicken biscuit sandwich. It is so tasty. Key of Cheyenne over on Nation Way, Platte Valley Bank ×2. Corner of College and Pershing, and the original location on Vandehigh. Medicap Pharmacy. For all your pharmaceutical needs, you'll find them over on Bluegrass Circle, where they've always been, right next door to Texas Roadhouse. Lennox Auto Body and the Auto Glass and Detail Center. The Auto Body Shop, Dunn Avenue, the Auto Glass and Detail Center over on Pershing. The key people of Cheyenne. Rachel and her great staff will come on by. Well, Rachel won't clean it, but her staff will clean it, so you don't have to. Give her a call. She'll come on by for a free estimate. 414-0074. We thank First Year Bank, 1508 Stillwater Avenue. Mondello's Pizzeria right across the street at 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons. And may I add, too, on the weekends, check out La Osteria Mondello. Delicious Paisan cuisine. My buddy Caesar cooks up deliciously. Also, the Wyoming, Montana Safety Council, Marv's Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue, Lincoln Way Liquor at 2825 East Lincoln Way. John says come on by and get a cold one for the way home. And we also want to thank our friends over at Pepsi of Cheyenne with our Pepsi scoreboard, where Nick says,
I got nothing. Yeah, sorry, again, no hockey action on both the ECHL, nothing for NHL.
Oh, you do have a loss from last night.
NBA as well, not talking about it, but anyways, get to your stuff.
All right, Major League Baseball. It's a double dip at Target Field between the White Sox and the Minnesota Twins. Twins being one-hitted as they've headed to the bottom of the 7th inning. Payo's lead 2-0, and they'll get the next game underway about a half hour after the completion of this one. So they're looking at around, I do believe, about 5:10 here Mountain Time. It will be the Rays at the Nats this evening. The Dodgers and the Pirates will hook up at PNC. Blue Jays hosting the Yankees in the Rogers Center. The Motor City Kitties of Detroit will face the Red Sox at Fenway. Brew Crew and the Indians at Progressive Field. Brewers right now boasting the best record in the majors, if I'm not mistaken. Or
it's June.
Or the National League.
It's June.
It will be the Rockies and the Reds, where the Rockies seem to play really well on the road. They'll go up against the Reds at Great American Ballpark. Kyle Freeland towing the rubber 5-5 with a 3.43 ERA. Orioles and the Mets at Citi Field. The Swingin' A's will be in Texas to take on the Rangers. It's the Phils and the Cubbies at Wrigley. M's and the Astros battle for first place in the AL West at Minute Maid. Again, White Sox and the Twins. They're actually saying that game will be at 6:10 Mountain Time. Marlins and the Cardinals will be at Busch. It will be the Royals and the Angels at Angel Stadium of Anaheim. Braves and the Padres at Petco. He's back for the Giants tonight. Mad Bum making his first start. He'll match up against Patrick
As
Corbin.
I told you last week.
Diamondbacks and the Giants will be hooking up at AT&T this evening.
Oh, well, you don't want to say that I was right. You did.
I told you that earlier. You were right.
I'm just saying.
You're not going to get a second.
I've been right on many of things, and you doubt me again?
Not on the Vegas Golden Knights, but you don't want to talk about that, do you? So we will take a timeout. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
Hi, I'm Alex White, tea master at Pure Leaf. When I make tea, everything I know with exceptional customer care. All of our contractors have background checks and are licensed and bonded. We guarantee you a safe and secure service that is tailored to your individual and business needs. The Key People do not impose year-long contracts, and all quotes are free, confidential, and personalized. Call Key People at 1-800-468-8283. That's 1-800-468-8283.
According to the latest Rate Watch report, First Year Bank offers the highest annual percentage yield in the Cheyenne market for 12, 18, 24, 36, 48, and 60-month CDs. The friendly staff is ready to answer any questions and help you open or renew your certificate of deposit. Give Carol, Caitlin, or Deb a call today at 307-632-3500. First Year Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Here the season never ends. From Wyoming sports to the Broncos in Denver. From Rockies baseball to talking hoops with Nuggets basketball. Local, regional, and national. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, right here on AM 1480 K-Ray.
We are back on Wyoming Sports Talk today. We get a chance to talk now to Sal Capaccio, Buffalo Bills beat reporter and host at WGR Sports Radio 550 in Buffalo, New York. Sal, thanks for joining us here in wonderful Wyoming today.
No problem, guys. Thanks for reaching out. I appreciate it.
That's Wyoming the state, not Wyoming, New York, or Michigan or anything like that. You know, we always get confused.
Well, I think they, at least there in Buffalo, should now know the state of Wyoming because they have two products there.
They may know a little bit. So, real quick here, Sal, I always have to give grief when we get things started here. You know, you play at New Era Field, which used to be Ralph Wilson Stadium, which used to be originally Rich Stadium in Orchard Park, New York. Have we finally got that all figured out now? I know it's been a New Era since 2016. We're not going to change the name again. It's still the same stadium, right?
It's been the same stadium for 45 years, or 43 years, actually, I should say. It's going to be, I think, since they broke ground, it's about 45 years now, and lease runs for another few years. It's going to be about 50 when it's done. It's crazy, and it may still keep going after that. It's actually a very good stadium. I've been to a lot of them, guys. I travel with the team. I'm the sideline reporter on the radio network. I've been to a lot of stadiums in the NFL, and the Bills Stadium actually still is very, very good for sight lines and things like that. It is outdated in a lot of areas, the corridors, things like that. So there's a big push right now to kind of figure out what they want to do in their next step. We don't have the kind of money or people that have the kind of money or corporations here in Buffalo to do what they've done in some of these cities like Minnesota or Atlanta with PSLs. But either they're going to have to get a new stadium that's cheaper or renovate this one like you saw in Kansas City and Green Bay recently.
Well, I was going to say, with Sal, though, you're mentioning, let's see, so again, it's a little outdated, again, not a whole lot of fundraising, not a whole lot of money coming into this place. It sounds like a stadium that one Josh Allen should probably get used to, because we don't really have that, at least across the hill in Laramie with the University of Wyoming. That sounds like it should be a new home for him, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Josh Allen he's already been here, obviously, in his rookie camp, his OTAs, mini camp is next week, and I think he's already had a taste a little bit of Buffalo weather because a couple of times, even early on, had some pretty dreary and cold days when it first started. It's been warm lately. We had a couple 90 degrees lately days, but this week it's back in the 60s for the highs, so he got some big swings. But, he'll be used to when the weather comes around and the winter comes around because of what he's seen in Wyoming, and he's used to throwing in that kind of weather. The thing about the stadium here, and I think a big reason why they targeted a guy like Josh Allen is the stadium is built actually into the ground. So actually the upper deck is ground level, and when you walk in, you go below the ground. That's kind of why the stadium's actually survived for 40 years. The bones are into the ground. It's not exposed by the weather. But what that does is it creates a swirling effect with the wind. If you could imagine, the wind comes over, goes down into the stadium and swirls around, and that you need a guy who can really cut it through the wind like Josh Allen. I think that was one of the allures to Josh.
That's what I always like about watching, especially highlights from Buffalo. You want to watch those highlights in September, but come December, you don't want to be anywhere near that stadium. It gets butt ugly cold out there, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. We had the big snowstorm game last year, which obviously everybody was watching. Buffalo as a whole has a bad reputation, but I think the games like that are few and far between. That was the worst game I had ever been around, and I grew up here and went through the Super Bowl years and stuff like that, and that was the worst it's ever gotten. And, you do have some snowstorms here once in a while. I'll be honest, guys. New York, Boston, the East Coast, Philly, they've been hammered with snow much more than Buffalo the last few years. We've actually had on the lighter side of snow, but we had a cold winter this year, and we did have that. So you do get those games, and the plan for the Bills is they want to play in January. They want to get back to playoff football, and you need somebody who can play in those elements and conditions. And like I said, it's not the reason they drafted Josh Allen, but it's certainly one of the reasons if you think about how they want to construct their team.
Sal Capaccio, Buffalo Bills beat reporter, host at WGR Sports Radio 550. Sal, I'm not going to throw this out there, the second coming of Jim Kelly, because there was only one Jim Kelly, and we tried to have that out here in Denver. We were looking with Brian Greasy being the second coming of John Elway, and that never materialized. But again, from the size-wise of a Josh Allen stepping onto the turf over there at Orchard Park, a marked difference from Tyrod Taylor. So, I mean, we're looking at a situation now where a lot of, we're throwing a lot of marbles into the hat here on Josh Allen, that this could be a revival of this team.
Well, look, let me first start with this. The Bills, since Jim Kelly retired, I mean, other than Drew Bledsoe, who was more at the tail end of his career but was still a good quarterback, they have not had, obviously, a franchise quarterback. Even if you call Drew that. I mean, at the time, I don't even know if you can, but he did pretty well in the early 2000s. Since then, it's been names of Kelly Holcomb, J.P. Lossman, Trent Edwards, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Brian Brom, E.J. Manuel, Thad Lewis, Matt Castle, Jeff Toole, and then Tyrod Taylor. Think about that. I mean, the Bills have been in quarterback purgatory for a long time. They've had a couple of first-round picks in there, including J.P. Lossman and E.J. Manuel. None of them worked out. So, Bills fans are gun-shy about what could happen here. Could it be another one of those busts that sets the organization back, or could you find the next Jim Kelly? It's going to be on the organization to develop him the right way, and hopefully he becomes that guy. But I'm going to take you back a year ago. All right, a year ago, draft night, the Bills traded down from the 10th spot. They got an extra first-round pick this year in 2018, and Kansas City moved up and took Patrick Mahomes. A lot of people, including myself, love Patrick Mahomes and thought he'd be a good fit in Buffalo. But I said on the radio the next morning, a year ago, I said, this is all about picking a franchise quarterback in 2018. They're going to have enough ammunition to move around the board and to get the guy they want. After that, they trade Sammy Watkins, they trade Ronald Darby, they get all these draft picks they had. And sure enough, that's what they did. They moved up with that ammunition to select Josh Allen. I mean, this is not because they suddenly like this guy and because he has a big arm at the combine. They did their research. They did their due diligence. I believe, from people I've talked to, he was probably either number 1 or number 2 on their board behind Sam Darnold. I think it was either Darnold Allen or Allen Darnold. The Bills could have had him number 1 on their board. I'm not sure, but they did extensive research on him going out to Wyoming. Terry Pagula, the owner, went out there. He met with him. The Bills did a lot of intel on Josh Allen before getting to this point of taking him.
You know, I don't want to cut you off, but you mentioned, Sal, with the fan base out there in Buffalo. But is this something? Are we looking at a mixed bag of where they've been through a little bit of heard of, promises of, hey, here's this quarterback we drafted. Well, it turned out to be a bust. Or are the Bills fans showing a little bit of a hope right now with Josh Allen going, let's give this guy a shot and see what he's really made of? What is kind of the fan base feeling right now with Josh Allen?
Well, I'll tell you, where they feel right now as a whole is a little bit different than what they felt in the pre-draft process. And I know that people in Wyoming are going to be like, wow, are you kidding me when I say this? But this is true. Josh Allen was clearly the most polarizing and most hated quarterback in the draft process amongst most Bills fans. Most Bills fans hated the idea of Josh Allen. They just did. We have a producer on our radio station that literally said, if they draft Josh Allen, I'll quit my job. He's actually leaving. Not because of that, but he is actually leaving. It was more of a joke back then. But this is not, I'm not kidding. And the reason is, I'll tell you why this happened, is because the whole accuracy thing, the completion percentage thing, it kind of grew and took on a life of its own. Here's a guy that, are you kidding me? He's going to be a first-round pick. He can't complete 60% of his passes at Wyoming against that type of competition. He wasn't even the best quarterback in his conference. And you get all these people on Twitter and on social media who become draft experts. And, yeah, a lot of them do their due diligence. And I respect a lot of people who just said, I can't believe this guy is even considered a first-round pick. Well, Bills fans who are, the general fan who doesn't dig deep into it, they hear that, they see that, they want to build part of him. I said since the beginning, look, I don't think people realize how bad the team in Wyoming around Josh Allen was. I mean, you're talking about not only a team that didn't have a guy drafted, I don't think anybody's going to be in a camp from Wyoming other than Josh Allen. I could be wrong on that, but that's how poor everything was around him. I think you could almost throw away the tape and everything you see on that. Well, since they've drafted him, you know how it goes, guys. You get fans who say, well, he's my guy now, so I'll support him. Or guys that go, oh, you know what? Now I see, some really good things that the team is talking about and tweeting out. And Sal says, oh, he's looking good in OTAs. So, I think you get a sense of that, but there are still a lot of people who completely hate this draft pick.
Well, and again, Josh last year threw to receivers who couldn't catch a cold. So, I mean, it was that bad. But let me ask you this of the OTAs. And again, we talk about these quarterbacks, and he was highly touted, after last year's draft. You've seen the Bills for umpteen years now. Is he NFL ready just at the OTAs?
No, but you know what? I mean, I haven't seen anything with pads on yet. It's all in shorts. And here's the thing, guys. They have not allowed him to take any reps with first or second team offense yet. It's been strictly third team. They have a plan right now. I think that will come with a true competition at training camp. Right now, they just want him to get his feet wet. One of the things people have to remember is it's not just, hey, you're the new guy and, you're in this different surrounding on the football field, but you're talking about a kid that has to move at the age of 22, basically, all the way from Cheyenne, Wyoming. He grew up in California. He has to come to Buffalo, New York. He's got to find a house, a place to live. He's got to fit into a locker room. Everything's different around him. He's got to deal with the first-round pick stuff, all that sweet stuff that came out, all that media, the barrage. I think they want him to kind of get settled in and get his feet wet as a human being first before putting so much on his plate. So he's been taking third-team reps, and that's only because they want that to happen. I think they'll generally put more on him, and I think they'll give him a chance at training camp to see what he can do. But right now, I mean, look, from what I see, my analysis of Josh Allen so far is kind of what I saw in film when I did the pre-draft process work on him, which is his arm is so good, it's so talented, that sometimes he's just an arm thrower, and that's when he gets in trouble, which is he sees something, he doesn't set his feet, and he thinks, I can just throw it there with my arm because my arm is that good. Well, you can at Wyoming or at the whatever high school level, but at the NFL level, DBs are too good. You got to make sure the timing is perfect, and you'll get in trouble there. And I think that's how he got in trouble with his accuracy issues at Wyoming. But when he sets and he throws the ball and he knows where he wants to put it, very few people that I've seen at his age, at this stage, even in OTAs, can throw the ball the way he can.
Well, the one thing I do like about Josh Allen, and those things sometimes are never brought to the table. He's a good ad-libber. The play may be called, and again, too, he's never had the greatest lines, and he's never had the greatest blocking. But when he's a guy on natural talent and ability, he can ad lib and he can make something out of nothing. And again, I think the Buffalo fans, if they get that opportunity, whether it's this season or next season, I think they're going to appreciate a guy who knows how to think football on his feet.
Well, I've heard from so many people how smart he is. I've had a chance to talk to Josh. He seems very thoughtful, forthright. He seems like he's a smart kid, but from football sense, I've heard a lot of how smart he is, how he can translate things from the classroom to the football field. But to your point of what you're saying, the big comparisons that we keep hearing from people are Ben Roethlisberger and Cam Newton. Now, that's a high praise, obviously, in both, but I mean the style of play. Really big guy who can move, who can ad-lib, who can run, who can do good with people falling around behind him, around him with a muddy pocket to get out of it, stuff like that. And you got to remember, where did Brandon Beane, Bills GM, and head coach Sean McDermott come from? Carolina. They drafted Cam Newton. They're used to. They had a quarterback like that who got them to a Super Bowl. So you have to think they might like a lot of those traits and say that's the kind of quarterback you need in the league. It's funny. Last year we only get to watch one day of OTA work every week. So last week it was on Thursday. And we go there, and Josh gets in with the third team. And the very first play, he ran a read option, and he took it around the right end for about 25 yards before someone touched him. He can run, too. He's a really good athlete, and I think that's very underrated.
Well, Sal, you mentioned as well, at least with Josh Allen, again, trying to ease him in, going on the 13 reps, again, trying to get past everything of the social media, especially what we know of the tweets and just all that hubbubaloo that was around him pre-draft and during the draft and then after. But we do know that there is another Wyoming product out there of Eddie Yarbrough. Is there, again, as you're kind of close-knit with the team, has Eddie kind of reached out to Josh Allen out there, kind of taking him under his wing? Again, two players who've been through the ranks over across the way in Laramie, Wyoming. Have you seen that so far?
First of all, let me tell you guys, I do a TV show with Eddie Yarbrough here. He's my co-host. It's great. It's awesome. Eddie is a fantastic individual and human being. He's a really good football player. Really noticed him last year during training camp. He stood out, and he wound up making the team, which is great. And since, what's funny is even before they drafted Josh, we would ask him, how about this kid Josh Allen? We know he's in the mix as quarterbacks, and Eddie would tell us stories about how he'd be at Wyoming practice, and coaches would say, hey, don't touch that guy. See that guy? He's going to the NFL. When he would say he just walked on campus, and like how much they knew at the time. And then Eddie, when all those tweets came out and things like that, he said, if anybody has any questions about Josh Allen, I'll be the first to defend him and say it. But Josh is gonna make sure he takes care of it, and I won't need to. He said, but if anybody has anything like that, I'll make sure I do that. And he knows what kind of a teammate Josh is, especially being an African American, especially everything that came out. He vouched for Josh very well, and since then it's been smooth sailing. I think with everything going on, Josh has fit in really well. From everything I've heard, I don't think there's any issues along those lines. I think Eddie Yarbrough is a great guy to have for him on the team.
Yeah, Eddie is he was a unique player, and I'm glad you have him as a co-host because I guarantee you he's just one of those guys that is just so likable. You just want to talk to him forever and ever and ever, and not turn off the microphone.
Yeah, and how about this? We actually did because he plays the ukulele. So I'm a drummer. I have a 4-year-old son who has his own little drum set. So one day on the TV show, we brought a ukulele in for Eddie, and then I brought my son's 4-year-old little drum set, and we had Deion Dawkins, left tackle, on the show as well, and we gave him a couple of moccasins, and we all just started jamming together. It was kind of funny. So Eddie is super talented as well. That's the thing I love about him. This locker room, this culture the Bills are trying to build, they want to bring in good human beings. And believe me when I tell you that everything that happened the day before the draft with the tweets, it was a big deal here. Like, the Bills called Josh Allen at noon that day and went through every single tweet, got an explanation, wanted to make sure that they're bringing someone in here who is a good human being who will fit into what they're doing. The Bills talk a lot about their DNA. The guys who they want have the right DNA. They would not draft Josh Allen if they just felt it was because he had a big arm. They want to make sure that he's the right kind of guy and fit in their locker room. And I will tell you, Eddie Yarbrough absolutely fits in that locker room as well.
This is a very proud franchise, the Buffalo Bills. Again, first season back in 1960, the old AFL days, and a lot of great football players have passed through the Buffalo Bill ranks through the years. And again, you look at today, 2018, you look above, and there's the New England Patriots, but I guess there's hope now. There's hope that the Buffalo Bills, setting each piece in place, with your quarterback position, your running back, building your line, your defense, and what have you. The Bills are working towards, hey, you know what? New England's not going to be on top forever. It's our turn. I'm starting to see that now, especially with this operation and Sean McDermott now at the helm.
Yeah, you named the key guy, Sean McDermott. It's him and Brandon Beane together. They're young. They're energetic. You talk about a head coach who's 45, a GM who's 41, I believe, an assistant GM who's 39, and Joe Shane. They have a very young, innovative type of. Think about it. Brandon Beane has made, I counted 6 player trades. When do you hear of that in 1 year since he's been the Bills GM? Not just draft pick trades, like player trades. I mean, there's a guy that wants to improve the roster. He's always thinking outside the box. He's come in and he's cleaned up the salary cap. Guys, they have over $40 million in dead money this year, which is by far the most in the league, but all of it is clear next year. Next year, the Bills are going to have, and I'm not kidding you, this is close to $100 million in salary cap room. Now you think, if they believe in Josh Allen, he shows them enough, they're going to have him on a rookie contract, and they can start spending all over the place to give him weapons. And I think that could be very scary. But you're right about the Patriots. We all know they're on the top, and that's who the Bills have to gun for. And as long as Tom Brady and Bill Belichick are there, it's going to be very hard. But making the playoffs last year, breaking that 17-year drought, the first time they made the playoffs this century, that was a huge, huge, huge weight lifted off everyone's back in this organization. Nobody has to talk about it anymore. You don't have to answer questions about it in the locker room anymore. It's not a distraction anymore. And I think that's the big reason why people have faith in exactly what you said, that they're heading in the right direction. And I think people expect now the Bills to at least start contending. And maybe they take a step back this year after an unexpected season last year. But I can tell you, starting in 2019, with all that cap space available and all the moves they've made, they are absolutely intending on competing for the AFC East.
Sal, we got one more question, and then we're going to let you go. I just wanted to, from the bottom of my heart, say thank you. Appreciate you joining us here today. And just wanted to throw it out here with Josh Allen one last time for our Wyoming fans. Your opinion, and your opinion only. And, again, they're going to put the pads on here pretty soon. Does Josh Allen see some action this year in the National Football League and talking regular season?
Yeah, I think he does. I think what's going to happen, guys, is we're going to go to training camp. Brandon Beane has said it's going to be a 3-way competition. A.J. McCarron's going to get the first reps. He's earned it in this league over Josh Allen and Nathan Peterman, and from there we'll see. And I think what's going to happen is there's going to be some throws where we'll see in camp and go, ooh, boy, Josh, he should have had that one. Like I've seen already in OTAs. But I'll tell you, there's also going to be throws where I'm going to go on the radio the next day and say, there's nobody who could make the throw on this team that he just made, and very few guys in this league who could do what he did. And that's going to be the allure to want to start him. I think A.J. McCarron, maybe Nathan Peterman. I think he's the underrated guy here. He's had a good little spring. They start opening day at Baltimore, but I think somewhere this season, Josh Allen becomes the starting quarterback of the Buffalo Bills.
You know what? We may have where I was just kidding about Jim Kelly when we opened up. I remember a guy named Darryl LaMonica, the Mad Bomber from the Oakland Raiders. We may have the second coming of the Mad Bomber in Buffalo this year, huh?
Well, we'll see. I mean, he certainly has an arm, guys. That's one thing that cannot be denied. I have one of the TV guys here at our Channel 4 CBS affiliate was standing next to Josh Allen when I wasn't there last Thursday, and he tweeted out a video, and he said the ball literally made a sound when it came in, and it went like that. Like, that's how hard he threw it. He said no other quarterback, you could hear that, and he wasn't joking. It's crazy. Like, this kid has such an arm. It's incredible. Very few people in this league ever have had the arm he has, but they got to put it together. They got to make sure the touch passes are there and all the things that go along with playing quarterback in the NFL, and if that's the case, then the Bills are in good hands.
Sounds like they're making Josh Allen have his own mythology where fans, you need to come out and see this for real at New Era Stadium or something.
Oh, I bet you your preseason or summer camp, I bet those places are going to be just packed this year watching the Bills.
I'll be curious to see how many Wyoming fans. We know that we have a few out here join the Bills Mafia. Again, we'll see how many of them make the trip out to New York.
Well, whatever it is, just make sure all the tables are locked up, okay? You guys know what happens when Bills Mafia gets together with some tables and some lighter fluid or something.
Hey, Sal, thank you so much. We're going to catch up with you later on in the season. When we get going here during the National Football League, give us an update on what's happening out there.
Anytime, guys. You guys got my number. Just let me know.
All right. Thank you so much. Sal Capaccio, Buffalo Bills beat reporter and host at WGR Sports Radio 550. In Buffalo, talking with us and giving us a Josh Allen update, OTAs. Of course, you got minicamp coming up.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you what. And then one of the most important things that Sal said, hey, We want Josh just to get settled and be a human being again.
Which is probably the best thing.
Absolutely right.
Don't put the weight of the world on him just right now. Just let him
be Josh Allen. That's
take
all.
a breath.
Let him be an adult. All right, we're going to take a timeout. We'll be back with more after these words on 1480 K-Ray. As Cheyenne's weather turns warmer, dust and pollen can become a problem for those with allergies, asthma, or respiratory issues. And the last thing you want in the summer heat is poor air quality in your home or office. So it's time to turn to Marv's Plumbing and Heating. That's right, Cheyenne's most trusted plumbing, sewer, and heating business also services air conditioning. Marv's Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue, can handle all your air conditioning needs. Give them a call, 316-7634. That's 316-7634.
Is your teenager ready to drive?
Come on, Mom. Let's go.
Sorry, you're not ready to drive yet.
What? Come on.
You need to complete a driver's ed class first.
The Wyoming-Montana Safety Council offers a complete driver's education program taught by Tim Woodard, former Laramie County School District's driver's ed teacher. Classes are starting soon. Please call 635-4592 to sign up or go to wmsafetycouncil.org. Wyoming-Montana Safety Council. Think safe, live safe.
Do you have a big remodeling project in mind? Then the best tool for you is a home equity line of credit from Platte Valley Bank. Whether you are remodeling, making home repairs, or expanding, a home equity line of credit can help you finish that project. Stop in and we'll show you the hidden value in your home with a home equity line of credit from Platte Valley Bank.
Some restrictions may apply, subject to credit approval. Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
For tonight, it'll be partly cloudy with highs around 87. For tonight, it'll be partly cloudy once again with lows around 49. On Wednesday, it'll be mostly sunny with a possible thunderstorm in the afternoon with highs around 79. And on Wednesday night, it'll be mostly cloudy with a chance of a thunderstorm with lows around 49.
Tired of lazy and predictable sports talk radio? We know you are. This is Cheyenne's new sports radio home. It's Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's right here on AM 1480 K-Ray.
Well, we haven't really talked a hell of a lot of sports. I mean, we got to talk to Adam Galicia about the Cheyenne Extreme and women's fast pitch. A little bit about Dwight Clark and Marcus Harris, and, of course, most recently, Sal Capaccio with the Buffalo Bills beat reporter and host at WGR Sports Radio 550, talking about Josh Allen, Bills, and Eddie Arbor, threw a little Eddie Arbor in there. Let's keep it in the college.
I was going to say, you might as well just call it UW 2.0, at least UW Pro, as, again, it seems like it's kind of the pipeline for the Cowboys to go play in the NFL right now, again, where you do have the two out there. So, again, we'll see how Josh Allen does.
Again, though, he said something that was very key, though. The general manager and Sean McDermott, the head coaches, young guys who built out at Carolina, and they saw Cam Newton. Again, Cam Newton was
a Heisman winner.
Yeah, but he was also
led a national championship Auburn team.
But he's also of that build of Josh Allen. Would you agree? He's of that build, but also too, Cam was an ad-libber as well with a powerful arm.
Yeah,
give Cam Newton his due. I mean, he sometimes is a ham and sometimes he's a wah-wah, but for the most part, the guy is a stud quarterback.
Yeah,
and obviously they see something in Josh that many other eyes didn't see. So I like the way things
without knowing the inside of who was placed where on what draft board. Again, who knows if the Broncos were teasing of if Josh Allen was number one and eventually just moved down, or who knows. But again, the Bills went with him, and again, we'll see how he does.
Yeah, and according to Sal, his opinion only, he thinks Josh is going to be on the field there at Orchard Park. So that'll be interesting to keep an eye on throughout the course of the football season. Again, too, another product of Coach Craig Bull, Carson Wentz. who did not get a chance to be that Super Bowl MVP.
He's still a champion.
No, but yeah, I mean, he brought.
He's the reason why that team's there.
He brought the team to the promised land. But again, another protege of Craig Bowl in Josh Allen. In Josh Allen, where let's see if he's going to be able to be that secondary quarterback of championship caliber.
Well, time will only tell. Again, they still need to build a few pieces again. As you mentioned, they have a load of cap space again, kind of pulling a 49er Brown move of let's just stack up a whole bunch of money and then make our move. Again, that'll kind of coincide where, hey, let Josh Allen get through his rookie year there at Buffalo, then let's build around him, spend some money, get some free agents, and say, hey, come on by and join this team. Again, kind of similar situation of what the 49ers are doing of, hey, we got our guy. Here's Jimmy G. Believe in him. We'll build around him. We are spending money. Come on by, and we're looking to build this into a powerhouse. And, again, would not doubt that's the same situation, again, that organization and how the Bills operate, at least not this season, as Sal's opinion, again, thinks they'll kind of take a little bit of a downturn. We'll see. But, again, 2019 season, it sounds like the Bills are going to be the aggressor, at least in the free agent market.
All right. We were talking college football to a certain degree with Josh.
Yeah, we've been on a football kick.
Yeah, well, but down south, and you wanted to make mention of this.
It's more of an update. We've talked with Kevin Lytle from the Coloradan about this, again, with CSU's big money contract for the naming rights, again, corporate naming rights for that, at least on-campus football stadium, again, one of the most expensive, at least in the Mountain West. I think it was second overall of just how much money was being tossed out for just the naming rights. Again, it was the Public Service Credit Union. Well, they decided as they were signing that contract that they were going to rename themselves. Well, they have. It is now known as Canvas Credit Union, and now it's no longer Public Service Credit Union Stadium. It is now known as Canvas Stadium.
But they're still,
Sunny Lubbock Field.
But they're still getting the $37.7 million bucks.
They're still getting that money. So, now we know what the stadium is now going to be officially known as Canvas Stadium. And again, they're going to get a ton of money. They're going to have fun with that. Obviously, invest that into, I would assume, athletics, because that's usually what you do. But again, that's where we're at right now with the CSU Rams. And again, it is the Sixth Mountain.
The Sex Mountain? Hey.
Sixth.
Okay.
That's what I said. Again, don't cut me off. Sixth Mountain West School with a corporate sponsor's name on a stadium. The others are Boise State with Albertson Stadium, New Mexico, Dreamstyle, San Diego State, Qualcomm. Why are they still playing Qualcomm? I do not know. San Jose State at CEFCU, another federal credit union out there, and then also to Utah State with Maverick Stadium. So,
and of course here,
do we see Wyoming getting a corporate sponsor?
I don't know. I mean,
again, that's money.
Well, I understand that, but
free money.
War Memorial Stadium was,
as they are also two improving facilities over there again, where we have the high performance altitude center or whatever it's called. And again, all these improvements that they're doing to athletics. Is that something that the Cowboys should do, or keep with War Memorial Stadium?
I don't know. Again, and I don't know
Taco John Stadium, War Memorial.
I don't know the premise, but I know War Memorial was basically dedicated to our veterans, obviously. And then Jonah Field, it's Jonah Field.
But that's why I'm asking the question is, do we see that again as a field that was dedicated? Is that something where Cowboys, at least years ago?
You would have to ask the Cowboy fans. I would say more of the older.
We could get on the phone with the AD.
Well, no, I know, but I would get on more of the fans to ask that. The older fans would probably be
keep it
War Memorial Stadium. I don't think it needs to be.
It
doesn't need to be corporized.
Well, is it the only corporized thing? Well, again, it's not so much, but Jonah Field, right? Again, Jonah Bank, but
it's Jonah Field at War Memorial Stadium.
I'm just saying that's the only name difference of the whole thing. But I just kind of wonder if Wyoming will ever do that again.
I mean, the Arena Auditorium is still the AA. I mean, it's not changed. I mean, it's more.
Yeah, but things do change. You have to evolve with times, and is that something that the Cowboys eventually have to kind of go and do? of saying, hey, corporate sponsors, we have availability. We'd love some quote-unquote free money.
So who would you go with?
Taco John's.
You think
that one would make sense, right? Again, one of the biggest. Well, I don't know the biggest corporation here in Wyoming, but it's
not the biggest corporation, but it's
a
local corporation. Absolutely.
I don't know, Halliburton. Isn't that out of?
You could throw any name.
I don't know if you want. I don't know if you want oil money on a school and naming rights, but I don't know. I'm trying to think.
Jonah Oil, you know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Taco John Stadium. It just makes sense to me, but.
And that's a neat deal. I don't have a problem with that. I'm just saying. I don't know.
I don't see Taco John's tossing out $37 million for naming rights, though. However, but you know.
But you still got to keep the War Memorial Stadium in there too. You can't just
Taco John Stadium at War Memorial Stadium.
You got to say Taco John's at War Memorial Stadium wouldn't flow.
Well,
you know,
I'm just saying that.
And I'll even throw out just gasoline for argument's sake. Exxon at War Memorial Stadium. It doesn't flow.
Oh.
Jonah Field at War Memorial Stadium. It pretty much it flows.
Jonah Field at Taco John Stadium.
But you lose the War Memorial.
I'm just saying, is that something that Cowboys eventually, or at least that brass there at the University of Wyoming goes, it is free money. We got, we are looking to improve facilities as, again, the War is kind of a little bit aging, or at least it's aged. They have made some improvements, but again, it is a similar situation there with the bills of, at least it's not built in the ground, but again, it is facades around it. It has been around for, 50, 60 years, something like that. It's been around for quite some time. So, is War Memorial in need of an upgrade? In some aspects, absolutely. I would say, again, with probably the seating facilities, again, that ever lovely elevator that we take, again, it's certainly in need of a few upgrades. But is that something that is really on the minds right now of the University of Wyoming? Who knows?
I don't know. I'm they put in the Wildcatter suites. Again, to me, and I've only been here 30-plus years, I like War Memorial Stadium. It's like over in Lincoln, Nebraska. It's Memorial Stadium over in Lincoln. But, War Memorial Stadium, to me, reminds us of those days, especially when that stadium was built, of who was doing things for our country, fighting for our country, the veterans. It's a tribute.
No, I get that.
I know, but it's a tribute to me. And I don't think.
I'm just saying.
I don't think there's many of those
again,
out
I'm not
there
saying,
anymore.
and I'm not wishing that they change War Memorial. But again, does it get to a situation where University of Wyoming goes, "Wow, a lot of these teams are making great money just to name a stadium."
You know the deal, money talks. So
yeah, exactly.
I guess if that would come to the table, we would. It's a wait and see.
Again, if Taco John said,
"Hey,
we got $40 million just to name your stadium," again, $40 million, you could do whatever you want with. I think University of Wyoming, and again, just using that as an example, but I think the university would have to take a serious consideration, again, where it is, wow, that's a lot of money. Can do a lot of great things with that, or of improving facilities and upgrading whatever. I would think they would have to stop and go, yeah, we got to take a listen.
Yeah.
Because again, Wyoming is not a powerhouse team, as you could get away with at least Nebraska, where again they're making national money. They're part of the Power Five. Wyoming isn't. They can, it's not saying they're desperate, but they are kind of a little under the eight ball of going, hey, yeah.
And realistically, too, with Wyoming, and a lot should be made note of, especially with the University of Wyoming, a lot of monies that flow into that university, not so much from the state legislature, are donations.
Yeah.
And we're talking very sizable donations. We're talking 7-figure donations that go to that University of Wyoming. And again, for the only four-year institution in this state, there are a lot of folks out there that have shown a lot of respect, a lot of gratitude towards this university, where they want to keep it still simple, but up with the, keep it up with the times as well. And I think the brain trust, and and I'm talking athletic departments and presidents and trustees and everything, when they all get together and look at needs and wants.
Yeah.
And with monies that have been allocated for various things, I think they have done things right over at the University of Wyoming. And I think they still keep things simple and pure. And I know that sounds kind of wishy-washy. Does the stadium need stadium seats? Okay, sure. Why not? I would love to sit in box seats as well. But, you sit on benches. But they have plastic seats they offer for you. But they also offer the Wildcatter Suite. So you can buy a suite up there if you want.
If you want.
Again, I say leave War Memorial Stadium as it is. I like it, Jonah Field at War Memorial Stadium.
Yeah, I'd say. Again, I have no complaints. I'm just tossing out theories of, is that something we see eventually?
I would see, this is just me now.
What's more likely to happen, that Wyoming gets another 4-year school, or
No, what's going to happen is I would see if somebody says, hey, so-and-so, I'll use Exxon again. I'll throw Exxon. Exxon wants to be, the naming rights to War Memorial Stadium. I would think somebody would actually, or some people would step up saying, no, we'll give you this. Keep it as War Memorial Stadium. I think there's more people out there than Nick, that would rather have that stadium still stay named War Memorial. I'm just throwing it out there, my opinion only.
We'll see. At least when that time gets here, again, we'll certainly see.
Yeah, well, and you'll probably be right again, and I'll be wrong.
I'm just saying, in that situation for that university, it is not a perennial powerhouse. It is, again, nothing like what monies are being tossed out of a USC or UConn, or I'm trying to think of other big Texas. It is here we are in the smallest state in the United States. Again, least populated.
Population-wise, yeah.
Well, again, it is, not a big. It's a fairly big campus, but I think even when I went to the University of Idaho, I think we had even more folks there. It is certainly a school that's behind the 8 ball, but I wouldn't fault them if they did it.
No,
it'd be like, I get it, but
it remains to be seen. Yeah. All right, we need to take a timeout, our last timeout here, before we get ready to wrap things up. Again, the hour is slipping by here real quick. We do want to come back and talk a couple other things, and we'll be back after these words on 1480 K-Ray.
Hop into the K-Ray Time Machine each Monday through Thursday for the golden age of radio, featuring famous radio classics such as Jack Armstrong and Suspense Theater, along with pioneers in the entertainment industry like Bob Hope and Abbott and Costello, along with many other performers who've captured our ears many, many years ago. Join us for the golden age of radio Monday through Thursday, 8 until 10 p.m. on 1480 K-Ray, also 101.1 FM, and you can also stream all of our programming on 1480kray.com.
The time is now, and the place to go is Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service for their annual model clearance sale of Jayco RVs and fifth wheels. This is your year to travel the countryside, and what better way with your Jayco RV from Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service. And to put you on the road today, save 30% on their annual model clearance. Their savings are always the best on whatever model you select. Come see and take home your favorite today when you buy from Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service at 6102 East Highway 30 in Cheyenne, or go online to jollyrogersrvs.com.
Taco John's presents Olay the Day Pep Talks.
Okay, good day in the weight room, boys. Remember, we lift weights for strength. For cardio, we lift weights faster. Wachowski, quit looking at your stomach, son. What you're looking for ain't there. If you want a six-pack, the easiest way to get one is at Taco John's.
Stop in for a 6-pack and a pound at Taco John's. Get 6 crispy beef tacos and a pound of potato olays, all for $10.99.
Let's Olay the day and go get one right now. Last one there has to pick up Mrs. Coach from jiu-jitsu class.
Olay the day at Taco John's.
John Mason here for Lincoln Way Liquor. I want to thank Cheyenne for helping us grow during our first year of business. We have over 5,000 new customers in our database in just 13 months. Our customers love our low prices, free ice, 2% credit for future purchases, and some really friendly service. And we always have 16 weekly specials on beer, wine, and liquor. We ask you to compare Lincoln Way Liquor, 2825 East Lincoln Way. We're not the largest, but we might just be the best.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
For today, it'll be partly cloudy with highs around 87. And for tonight, it'll be partly cloudy once again with lows around 49. On Wednesday, it'll be mostly sunny with a possible thunderstorm in the afternoon with highs around 79. And on Wednesday night, it'll be mostly cloudy with a chance of a thunderstorm with lows around 49.
When it comes to sports talk in Cheyenne, it's a whole new ballgame. Let's play ball! You're listening to Wyoming Sports Talk today, and it's only here on AM 1480 K-Ray.
Closing moments of our program here on Wyoming Sports Talk today, and we're only going to give it a few moments. And I'm not.
I hope you realize what you're doing right now is also too on video. So
I'm paying my cohort across the way. He gets paid for what he does here. I know everybody's saying to themselves, "Really? Why should he get paid?"
Not enough.
All right. Anyway,
not for everything I've done. Again, as we are live right now on Periscope, we're live on YouTube, at least through our 1480 K-Ray channel. Again, where we're going to be doing some interesting things on that YouTube channel. Again, things to come, things that are being broadcast here on 1480 K-Ray. We'll announce that when we get to that time. But again, a lot of good things, at least multimedia here. Again, just going, again, we're still radio first, but again, adding some new dimensions to either Wyoming Sports Talk Today or 1480 K-Ray. Again, also, too, for the social media sides for Wyoming Sports Talk Today, find the show over on Twitter. At least I'm representing it. You find me at Nick Wyo Sports. Also, too, the show is over on Facebook as well by simply searching just that, Wyoming Sports Talk Today, or it's facebook.com/Wyo Sports Talk. If you can't find either of those for whatever reason on the redesign, or at least I did a little modifications on it, but on 1480krae.com, on pretty much every page, you can find Facebook, at least information to find 1480 K-Ray, also to find that YouTube page, and also you can find, if you go under the programming guide, go to Wyoming Sports Talk Today, click on that page, and at the top of that page are now three buttons. They're no longer yellow. They correspond to the blue of Facebook, the light blue of Twitter, and the red of YouTube, where again you can find all those links over to the Facebook page for Wyoming Sports Talk Today, my Twitter page, and the YouTube channel, where we'd like you to like, follow, subscribe now as well too over on the on the YouTube side, where I'm giving you updates, at least on the two other sides, of guests who are coming on the show, news to pass along, any contest giveaways that we will be having as well too.
And your page right there.
You might want to flip over the other page.
Flip over the other page.
That has my personal information.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter. No one can see that.
Again, you obviously don't understand technology.
I understand technology.
A guy who goes on Facebook and clicks random links, and then I install antivirus and learn that we have Trojans. Yeah,
I do not do that.
Who has the close pulse on technology and how things work.
Don't even go there with me. You're just in a pissy mood because your Vegas Golden Knights are about toast. You know, and I'm not going to diss on them. I'm just going to say,
is it a pissy mood, or is it, again, as I kind of sit here, again, it's kind of a state of, yeah, I'm a little hurt of where they are being right now.
The first 5 minutes last night was Vegas Golden Knights hockey. They came out with a ball of fire.
Well, and again,
unfortunately, the best they could do was kiss the post.
The issue right now is, again, missing easy shots, hitting the
defense is horrible.
Defense is taking, crease. Well, again, defense is certainly taking that step back as we see it in 3 straight games now, but again, for Vegas, it's thankful that they are moving back home to the T-Mobile Arena coming up on Wednesday. But, again, it is a situation where, do I see them winning the next 3 and taking care of business and hoisting that cup? I don't see it. I
think Washington wins this now, back home in 6. Yeah, you're right. Vegas may get that little breath of fresh air.
Again, I don't discount Vegas. Again, and this is a team that it can. Again, the stat, at least of the night for the Vegas Golden Knights, is they are a team, at least through their first inaugural season, their longest losing streak has been 3 games in a row, and then they have taken care of business. So, again, will things change coming up here in Game 5 of the Knights? I can only hope so. But a lot has to change. Certainly on the defensive side. Offense, you need to get those scoring opportunities, or at least take advantage of it. Hey, James Neal, you had a wide open net, and for whatever reason, you skirted it just a few inches away, and yeah, that was the difference of, hey, you had the lead there early in the first period. But right now, it's a team I do not discount. But do I see them pulling off the
miracle?
No. I really don't.
No.
And again, at this point for Vegas, again, it's their first season. No one anticipated. Myself, I did not expect this point in time for this team. So it is kind of, again, a 50-50 of, sure, I'm hurt, but also too very proud of where this team is at right now. Again, to say that this team has done up to this point, again, of every other team, they still had a chance. They were still only 3 wins away from a championship. And they still are.
All right, we're going to move on here.
It's not over until it's over.
Rockies and the Reds. Rockies take their 19-13 road winning habits out on the road tonight. They'll be at Great American Ballpark. The Giants welcome back Mad Bum. They welcomed back Hunter Pence last night. So the Giants slowly but surely starting to fill out their roster right now. It is official that Clayton Kershaw has gone to the DL for the Los Angeles Dodgers. We want to remind you coming up here, there's no NBA tonight. That will be tomorrow night as they'll return to the Quicken Loans Arena for Game 3 and 4. It will be the Cavaliers hosting the Warriors. Warriors leading 2-0 that. Best of 7 again tomorrow night from the Quicken Loans Arena. Tonight here on 1480 K-Ray, it is the Golden Age of Radio Theater. Red Skelton ×2 from 8 until 9 p.m. Again, great radio shows from the early 40s, which will be followed up by Suspense Theater and a couple of programs back-to-back from 9 until 10. So, again, Golden Age of Radio Theater presenting some great classics for you. That's why we call it the Golden Age of Radio. That's when it was at its heyday back in the years, in the 40s and the 50s, and even to a certain degree in the 30s. So, again, we'll have that coming up for you here.
You're wasting precious time, so I can get some money.
Also, we have for you the best of the 50s and 60s musically coming up between 5 and 6. You have on this date in history. What do we have? Bank is open till 5:30, so relax, clown. Relax.
I guess it does take me only like 2 minutes to get over there.
Yeah, I've seen you drive. And as to law enforcement here parked on the side of the building, it will be. Oh, anyway, go ahead.
You already can tell what my plate is. I think pretty much everyone knows. But anyways, on this date, it is June 5th. We'll go back to the year 1989. This stadium opened.
June 5th, 1989?
Yeah. And they actually had a contest played as well, so that's a hint, too.
Had a contest played June 5th, 1989. Oh, jeez.
Time's running out. Toronto Blue Jays.
I was going to say Milwaukee. I was going to say Miller Park.
They played against the Milwaukee Brewers. But, yes, the Toronto Blue Jays on this date in 1989 opened the Sky Dome, and they lost to the Milwaukee Brewers 5-3.
All right, with that all being said, thank you again to Adam Galicia, head coach of Galicia 18 and Under Extreme. And we also want to thank, most recently, Sal Capaccio from Buffalo, New York, joining us here on Wyoming Sports Talk today. For Nick